All right. Welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone. I'm here with Jon Burr. Jon, how are you doing?
Miami Heat, hey now.
Oh, I like that. As you tip your cap, for those watching on YouTube, you tip your bright yellow Nuggets cap. That is the brightest yellow Nuggets cap I've ever seen.
I'm conflicted on this cap for the listeners. It is ugly, like Michigan Wolverines, yellow and blue, but I bought it because it has the skyline.
Yeah, it's got the rainbow skyline for those audio podcast listeners, but it is confusingly just bright yellow.
Well, there, it's gone.
Yeah, which is fine.
Now you have to contend with my amorphous hairline.
The Nuggets' success, which we'll get to, I'm sure, plenty in this show.
Mostly.
It has somewhat coincided with me having my Nuggets shorts stolen. I feel like they,
stolen?
Well, I mean, I think they were stolen. I mean, you convinced me they were stolen because they were left in a hotel room in a drawer.
See, I just don't remember any.
It's okay. They were left in a hotel room in a drawer. I called the hotel immediately upon leaving. Was like, hey, I left one pair of black jogging pants, one pair of Nuggets basketball shorts in this drawer in this room. Like, it's not there. Like, oh, I just left them. Wait, it's gone. So, like, we'll see if it's turned into lost and found. You know, yeah. So they're gone. That for me, they were taken. I mean, it was not a tip for the housekeeping service. Maybe they interpreted it as such. But anyway, I lost my Nuggets shorts, my brightest, most outwardly garish bit of Nuggets apparel.
If you're going to be a Nuggets fan, you have to be a very outro person. You've got to be ready to field questions. You've got to be ready to maybe might deal with some homophobia even.
Right. If you're going to wear the rainbow skyline, you might stop being carried at Target. They might decide it's not worth it anymore. That's one thing. So I love the Nuggets. I always love the Nuggets. For when you're shopping for their apparel on like NBA store,
pretty hard.
It's hard to find the rainbow apparel. A lot of this, the new stuff. I don't like any of the new stuff. The jerseys they wore against the Lakers, don't like any of them.
No, there's a lot of like Pistons horse face energy to the new stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, we can get more into the Nuggets in a second. We don't want to shortcut our breakfasts and also
what will we talk about?
Life. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Jon, before I get to my breakfast. I did something that I thought was very Jon Burr-esque.
Uh-oh.
And it made me feel like something you might do. I snuck away.
Did you borrow money from someone?
No, I snuck away without telling anybody to go buy some used Legos. And
now you're in my world now.
I'm in your world. So there's this place.
Basically a daily occurrence.
There's this place. There's this place in Nashville that has like a big old bin of loose Legos. And it's like you just pick out.
McKay's?
Yeah. So McKay's, if you don't know, if you're not in the Nashville area or in the Knoxville area, I'm not sure I think they're regional. I think they're very localized.
They were started in Knoxville and Chattanooga, I believe.
There you go. So it started as a used bookstore, much like Amazon.
Do you want to hear something crazy about it?
Please tell me anything.
The guy who devised the algorithm for the store that tells them how to purchase and resell things.
Yeah.
Took the money that he made off of it. I guess he was like, over $1 million. He didn't have to work anymore, and just opened like a punk rock bar in Knoxville and ran it for like 12 years until he died.
That's amazing.
He was a good guy.
$1 million, not enough to live on.
Shout out to the Pilot Light. Yeah. Well, this was the
when
I was rocking and rolling.
Right. So it's like a used bookstore that just sells everything now. It sells DVDs, games, used toys, and it's very frequent. If you have merchandise you want to sell, you could just take it to this place and it'll sell. It's a huge store. But they've just recently, as far as I found out, added Lego, and they have a big bin. And here's the thing. I don't want McKay's to find this out. So I hesitate to say anything.
Oh, I did this with Magic cards. I screwed the Magic community with Magic cards.
Well, like it's improperly priced. It's too cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and they have a thing where it's like, hey, you can fill up a bag. There's like
so you got to go every day until this ends.
That's what I thought. I was like, I'm worried. I don't know what the supply chain is. Like, do they have an infinite amount of Lego that's going to keep pouring in, or is this bin going to run dry?
This is essentially just a hackers-esque moment where the decimal point's in the wrong spot, and eventually they're going to figure it out.
Right. This is the thing where I'm supposed to go, and I need to go there. So the first time I went, we were there for we were buying Super Mario Brothers 3 for NES for my 8-year-old son.
Pretty good game.
I didn't know this Lego thing was there, and I was like, well, hang on, is that just a big bin of Legos? And I went over there, and I started filling up a bag, and they had a big bag that was like a 2-gallon bag, and it was like $20. And I'm like, that's not bad. But then I was picking out just the actual pieces I wanted, and there are these smaller bags that are just $4, and you can fit hundreds of Legos into these bags that cost $4. So like, I basically filled up 2 bags, got $8 in Legos from the store, which was like just a treasure trove. Like if I wanted to be insane, John, I could sell each one of these Legos for like 10 to 25 cents a piece online, like microtransactions. Right. But anyways, I'm like, that seemed really cheap. And like, it's so cheap. I texted my brother, who I don't talk to all the time. I was like, hey man, look how many Legos I got for $8. Anyways, I was thinking, well, you were thinking, I got to go back to this place. What if it runs out?
All the time.
So yeah, I snuck out and grabbed another bag. But now I'm like, I got to go back again, because now you've reinforced this. I got to go back till it's gone. Yes. I went to another place. There's a place in Cool Springs, which is a suburb, a mall-scape suburb south of Nashville. They have like they have a Lego, like a specific Lego resale store there. I went and checked it out. They had also loose pieces you could buy, properly priced.
Yeah.
Like it's real expensive. I'm like, oh, well, I don't. Yeah. It's now like the $4 thing here is like $12 at this place. Well, I need to go back. So I got to go back to I got to find time in my day just to clean this place out.
You're like a Lego pawn star.
I really am. Also, I didn't know.
You need to get into storage units.
That's the next.
You need to purchase storage units that have the whiff of Lego. Some storage units you can tell there might be bodies in there. You move on.
You're talking about buying storage units off of auction to see if there's Lego inside. I thought you meant I need to start becoming a Lego hoarder where I buy the new sets and save them for years in my storage unit.
And this one will get me killed if somehow my girlfriend listens to this one. I have 2 storage units.
Yeah.
And they're very particularly set up so that one of them has plausible deniability and the other one is just doomsday. Because the other one is just like every starting lineup figure, every magic card I said that I had sold for God knows what, Goldie's College Fund or something. Yeah. They're still there, man.
Yeah.
They're just hidden away. And that's the air. So there's like the air conditioned, climate controlled one.
Right.
Which is probably where how do Legos keep? I would feel like they might deteriorate.
I don't know if they need climate, but some of the sets would have like stickers and things, and maybe those would need yeah.
I worry about their, the hair that detaches, like Mike Malone
detachable minifigure
like Marv Albert
hair. No, that stuff can live outside, and I think it's unaffected by the elements.
There are 2 days that I can recall perfectly. I can remember the Ron Artest punch Malice in the Palace. I remember every aspect of that day. And then I remember where I was when I found out that Mike Malone shaves his head, not because he's bald, but because he just likes to have his head shaved.
Thought you were going to tie that back into Lego.
Sorry. I'm just on hair.
That was a very, the hair thing. Okay. I didn't know where that came from, John.
I don't know either.
I thought you were like, I gotta get out of this.
I've been rocking and rolling this has been a long day. It's only 1 o'clock, but I've been on Zoom. Well, that's for like days.
So also unrelated. Speaking of moments, where we found out, I was wearing a Steve McNair shirt the other day
at Dave and Buster's,
and I was not at Dave and Buster's, but my wife's like, oh, I remember where I was when we found out McNair died, and I said, everyone knows where they were.
Yeah, everyone knows.
There's not a person in Tennessee that doesn't know where they were. It's not my adult life is 9/11 and then finding out Steve McNair died.
No doubt.
Like those are the two.
I'm one of the only people who has no idea what I was doing on 9/11, but I know damn sure what I was doing with number 9 went down.
have you ever in the parking lot of McKay's stopped a person who was on their way in to trade stuff in? To be like, because I saw someone walking into McKay's, going back to the top of the show's subject. I saw someone walking in with unopened Lego sets, and I was like, I know what John Burr would do. John Burr would be like, "Hey man, how much are you looking for?"
Yeah.
Like I didn't do it.
Yesterday I bought a magic card from a guy as he opened it out of the pack.
Ooh.
So the answer is spiritually, yes.
I didn't know if there was a chance if like then this when the McKay's security people come out, they're like, "Hey man, hey quit. You get away from here trying to buy the merchandise before it's being resold to the store, like the way into the store."
The store owner gave me a hard time, but I did like a hand wave. Like, did the dismissive hand wave that was so demoralizing that it just ended the conversation. So, well,
that's like I was
old Jewish guy energy.
Now that we're bouncing around,
energy.
I was when I was leaving Austin, Texas, in the airport, I was watching Sixers Celtics playoff game at like some weird bar sushi hot dog joint.
Sounds like Austin.
But I ordered a slice of pizza and sat down and it's an airport. It's like a bunch of tables. It felt almost like a food court. And then like the bartender came over and was like, "Hey, I'm not going to make you leave because you're eating, but like this is for patrons only." I did the wave, hand wave. I was like,
hand wave.
What are you going to do? Thanks for telling me. Not going to make me leave. Thanks for informing me. I'm going to watch this basketball game now. Anyways, I thought of you, John, shopping for a used Lego. I mean, you helped get me into this.
I wish I could get into Legos. No, you don't. I can't put them together, man. Like my 3-year-old daughter does puzzles faster than me.
Yeah.
And it's not because she's a genius. I just don't have that kind of a like spatial awareness. I can destroy a Lego set.
You just gotta follow the direction. I'm not creative. I'm not building anything out of my imagination. Just I guess that's what I'm supposed to do with the loose.
So there are instructions for the Lego sets. I didn't know
for all the Lego sets. Oh yeah. It's just it's very straightforward. Yeah. Anyways, John, we can do breakfast now.
Do you think Joe Mazzulla could put
follow
together?
Yes.
Could put together a pirate ship.
Everyone excited that he called one time out or something. Oh, very, very funny. Now, what's your breakfast, John? We can do the breakfast now.
Today's breakfast was something they call the diner plate, I believe is what it's called. It had hash browns.
You going back to diners? What happened to the
cheese and
onion? What happened to the quinoa bowl or whatever you're eating?
So I eat acai.
That's the one. Sorry.
My apology for this week is that I put too many syllables in the word acai, apparently. But I'm just doing. I'll go to a diner like once every 2 weeks or a month with some friends to get together because I do believe in the power of the third space. So I did have breakfast with a number of my buddies this morning, and we went to the diner thing, and I didn't have my usual like heart clogging devastation meal. Yeah. I just had hash browns, fruit, and toast, which to me was like,
that's health food.
That's as healthy as I can be at a diner.
Someone
else ordered the ham and it had like the big bone in it, and I was like, God, I miss you. But my body's being weird. I think my body like is dying or shutting down because it's not even letting me eat unhealthy food. Like I've had an appetite for this every day of my life. I have no appetite for pizza.
Oh, wow.
Which I always want.
Yeah, you might need to talk to your doctor.
My cardiologist is sending me messages via my Uber Eats ads, I think. But it's been weird, but I feel pretty good. I'm trying to kick soda. I'm on day 2 of no diet beverages.
Oh, you're drinking a second straight show. You're drinking Liquid Death.
Yeah, we'll be able to monitor my progress via the YouTube shows. I'll probably fall and get up again and again and again. But what a ride! All
that matters is just getting up, right? Fall down 7, stand up 8.
John Wick
8 or 9? I can't even remember the Dwayne.
12 steps.
My breakfast, I had, we'll call it a milkshake. It was I put a lot of peanut butter in there. I felt like made it more
Maybe
of
it's a slurry. I think you have a slurry.
Peanut butter, banana,
slurry,
ice, whole milk because we had some leftover whole milk needed to get rid of, ice cream.
This is a
little bit of chocolate syrup. Yeah. It was a chocolate peanut butter banana milkshake. That's what we'll call it. But that was healthier than some, had peanut butter. It was almost good for me.
Close.
Anyways,
Almost
those were our breakfasts. After our breakfast, we moved to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is the first time usually that we actually talk about the NBA. So our apologies. Let's make something right we got wrong on our previous show. What would you like to apologize for? Did you already do it? The acai?
I think you're up. Yeah.
All right. I thought it was acai. It's just
acai, I think.
Acai?
I got a lot of feedback on that one.
I also remember.
I'm from the South. I have a lot of syllables to
I also remember I also remember where I was the first time I saw the word acai.
Go on.
I was in Orlando at the
Makes
Swan
sense.
Dolphin Resort outside of Disney World. And there was a convention for some kind of multi-level marketing thing. And basically they were all selling, how do I say it? Acai? They were all selling acai smoothies. And that is what the this pyramid scheme was. And this was a convention for maybe the top sellers. And I was like, what is this word that's everywhere? And I'd never seen it before. So that's the first time it's stuck on my mind.
Tasted like pureed goodness.
Here's my apology. It is basketball related. In game 4 of Lakers Nuggets.
Okay.
I have been wearing my emotions on my sleeve. I am very pro Nuggets. I rode with the Lakers as they faced the Warriors. I cheered for them.
As did I.
Was ecstatic the minute they won. I ripped off the jersey and lit it on fire and said, I now hope you fail horribly and miserably.
I renounce thee.
Yeah, I renounced the Lakers fandom. They did me right for at least 2 weeks.
Get thee behind me, LeBron.
So I'm very biased. I'm very much cheering for the Nuggets. I am very upset about officiating in games 3 and 4. I feel like the refs aren't doing a good job. I don't feel like they are calling the game evenly. I feel like they're missing blatant travels on LeBron James. I feel like maybe the league does have I don't know if they care who makes the finals, but I do feel like they care if it's a sweep versus going 5, 6, 7 games. And it feels like the heavy thumb of maybe a crooked referee was on the scale at the end of game 4. We had Mark Davis, who's one of the most highly esteemed, I guess, referees. He gets all the big games. You know, he's on the short list of guys in the rotation for the NBA for big games. He calls this miracle 3-point shot by Nikola Jokic a 2-pointer. It wasn't close. Wasn't close to a 2-pointer.
No, and Jokic does that 3 times a game.
And Jokic, when he shoots that shot, you know his left foot's not on the ground. His right foot's on the... It wasn't close to a 2-pointer. And I'm like, how do you call that a 2-pointer? I know this is going to be fixed, but I was still like, shades of Tim Donaghy. This is something that years ago they wouldn't fix.
Fixed is right.
So he calls it a 2-pointer. Then a minute later, he calls out of bounds call. He says Lakers ball. And then the other ref, the guy I always want to call Jeremy Piven, but it's Josh Tiven. Josh Tiven comes in and is like, no, Nuggets ball. Well, I thought at that moment, Mark Davis he's raised my suspicions. It feels like he's trying to help the Lakers out here. And I was like, this guy's a company man.
Yeah.
Looks like maybe he wants the series to extend. Well, I was wrong because the last 2-minute report came out and Mark Davis was right. It was, in fact, off of the Nuggets. It was not supposed to be their ball. It was.
I thought you were going to say it was in fact a 2-pointer in my entire.
No, it was definitely a 3-pointer. It was easily. Also, beyond that, there was the kickball, which, by the way, was to the naked eye not a kickball. The Nuggets got bailed out. Rui Hachimura deflected a pass with his hand, then it hit his foot. So
that was one of those where the other guy called out it went off his foot, and they responded to it, right? Where Nugget was like, "Oh, it went off his foot."
No, it was the Nuggets yelled a lot, and it kind of looked like it went off the Lakers, but it turns out when we slow-moed it, Austin Reeves did not touch it. So I feel bad that I impugned the integrity of Mark Davis.
You shouldn't feel bad. He hates the Grizzlies.
I would also feel bad because I actually called the FBI tip line, and that was maybe one step too far. I treated him like Tina Fey did in that 30 Rock episode when she calls in her neighbor, Fred Armisen. If you see something, say something, John. Which, by the way, I don't know if you heard this. I almost missed it. Mark Jackson on the Game 4 call talking about LeBron James bring his teammates in on the huddle.
Yeah.
He's like, he's coaching them up. He's talking to him. He's telling them, if you see something, say something. And I missed it because my wife said, hey, I think that phrase is basically exclusively only about terrorism and you can't really reappropriate it. And I said, honey, what are you talking about?
I think it's
and she says, Mark Jackson, she said, the guy on TV just said, if you see something, say something. I'm like, he did? And so then I backed it up, rewound it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's amazing.
Is this an Enos Cantor joke in Waiting? What's happening here?
Nothing. I don't even know.
Basically, Mark Jackson, from the Mark Jackson School of Coaching, yes, that is coaching.
Yeah.
That qualifies as coaching.
Tattle on Festus Ezeli. Report Festus Ezeli to the authorities. Tell your teammates he's been calling you guys out. He's been asking for you guys to all play less.
You brought up Jeremy Piven, and it makes me think of something that I've been pondering lately. Jeremy Piven is the first person I remember seeing in a movie and being like, because he would play high school people, college people.
Yeah.
With no hair on his head.
Yeah, like school ties. Was he?
He was the first one I ever thought of. Brendan Fraser, Matt Damon are in school ties. I don't know if
Piven's in there. Maybe Piven's not.
But he was the first person I there's two people I can remember of being the first actor I saw in something being like, that's too old for the character. It's him, and then Robert Redford in The Natural when he's trying to play like an 18-year-old boy. And you're just like, what is happening? Where like that's the first one where like broke my childish mind. I'm like, movies aren't real. What, there is no Santa. Like, and I made me wonder, like, who was it for you? Like the first person you realized was too old to play a role in the movie. And then to keep this basketball related, at what age is LeBron too old to play basketball? 48?
I thought you were setting this all up because Jeremy Piven was shown on screen during Game 4. I thought you were setting this all up that Jeremy Piven was basically playing high schoolers at bald while he was bald.
Yeah, and now that he has hair,
he's now no longer bald. They showed him at the game, and it's like, whoa. Very much not
the role of canceled aging television star.
Yeah. Which I'm now trying to think of who's most of it all 90s shows. So like I didn't watch a lot of them at the time, but I've actually gone back and watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah, Xander.
And there's a handful of dudes who are like, these guys are early 30s.
Spike.
This guy,
Spike's like 41.
Yeah. Who's the one guy, I don't even remember his name anymore, who's like part of the Good Times gang. He's like with Buffy and Allison Hannigan.
Right?
Is it Xander?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy is so old.
Yeah.
He's so old.
Like he's like during the show, like getting like multiple DUIs and stuff, like living hard.
He's
and then
so
just, like
old.
Playing a 16-year-old boy.
He's supposed to be in 16. This is insane. How can anyone?
He's got like the Kirk Hammett hair dye where he's trying to hide the hairline and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so those were our apologies. Before we get to our steak and eggs best thing, just want to tell everybody to download the brand new official Grind City Media mobile app. Explore new ways to access your favorite Grind City Media content, from your favorite shows and series to news and entertainment. Stay connected with exclusive content at your fingertips with the new Grind City Media mobile app, available in both the Apple and Google Play stores. All right, steak and eggs best thing, John. What is your steak and eggs best thing? What's the best thing you saw in the last week?
I mean, besides the Lakers getting bounced, which I'll let you pontificate on longer, I am relieved that we didn't have the fearful symmetry of Lakers Celtics both being expunged.
Okay.
Mostly because I just don't want the Nugget staff to play immediately. The Nuggets played.
They weren't rushing anything.
I know, but the Nuggets played like 7 guys in Game 4. Like, I would like now for the Nuggets to have like a week off.
Well, and I think the possibility,
regardless, because I think the Celtics are like, they weren't going to play no matter what.
Yeah, man. Yeah, wow. June 1st is the finals locked in. It was going to
be this.
It could honestly be my worst thing. I was looking forward to 8 days off. I mean, we were going to do some weird podcasts next week.
I don't think you would have gotten it off. We would have just had to fill the air with apocalyptic nonsense.
No, but we don't have to watch basketball.
But that's the good part.
I'm not saying we have to watch it, but
Chuck's
it's like free. It's like free, man. Your evenings are free. I'm going to go to a concert on Wednesday night. There's no basketball on.
Oh, yeah, I've retired from that.
I don't normally go.
Hurts my ears. I see people from my past, makes me feel bad.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yep. Yeah, that is the downside.
You're gonna be like, Michael Eads is still there. Damn.
Yeah. Shout out Michael Eads, one of our original listeners.
He's probably not listening by this point, but there was a time where he would listen up until breakfast every show.
Good guy. No, I was a little bit looking forward to the 8 or 9 days off. I thought it'd be fun. We could
for me, I'm not ready for it to end just yet. I like the constant basketball in the air. Like I want to live through it. And then also I think the Celtics will probably make it interesting. I mean, we've seen this movie before. They just made the series before we had, told their death bell. I think we could have the makings of a classic, or at least I'm hopeful for one, because honestly, I only enjoyed the Lakers sweep because I have become completely swept up in the Nuggetsism of it all. If you're not a Nuggets fan at all, sweeps aren't fun.
But the Lakers sweep was one where the Lakers were,
the games were all good.
The Lakers were good too.
Three of them, yeah.
And the performances were great. Yeah, I'll say my best thing was that obviously that the Nuggets win. Maybe the fun symmetry. I don't know if it's related cosmically, but Carmelo Anthony retired, and on that day, the Nuggets made the conference finals for the first time in their franchise history. I don't know if this is maybe not related at all.
If we're gonna do Schadenfreude, I'll give a recommendation for my best thing as well. Just listen to the ebb and flow of any Celtics Homer podcast. Just check it out. Truly amazing to watch. I've tuned into, probably the biggest Celtics Homer podcast after each game, and it's really been just a joyous roller coaster ride featuring all your favorite columnists.
I don't even feel like it's Schadenfreude with me with Carmelo. Like, I don't dislike Carmelo. I like him just fine.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, like I mean, Olympic Melo, incredible. I always
Syracuse
thought Melo, Syracuse Melo, unbelievable. I always thought Melo was the missing piece of the grit and grind Grizzlies. Back when Melo would have just been a straight up 3. That's all they needed was Carmelo. But it was weird where like he finally hangs it up. I frankly forgot he played for the Lakers last year. I'll be real.
I did too.
Yeah. But the Nuggets get there, and also
Blazers. Don't forget he played for the Blazers for a minute, right?
We got these great games. We like LeBron basically played 48 minutes. I mean, he only sat out a few seconds. He had a 40.10 rebound game. I mean, it was just incredible stuff. Darvin Ham made the adjustments that everyone wanted him to make.
Darvin Ham seems legit awesome.
Yeah, he started his main guys. He let Rui and Schroeder play in the starting lineup. He wrote those guys for like 40 straight minutes. It's kind of funny. Everyone was like, look at the lineup data when these 5 guys are on the court. Well, then they lost the third quarter by 1 million. Like they played them the entire third quarter of game 4, and I think they were outscored by 20 in that third quarter.
Who went from outhouse to penthouse the most for you in the playoffs? Ham, Hachimura, or Schroeder?
That's a good question. I didn't have a strong opinion of Ham, so it's not him.
Okay.
Hachimura,
he had been, my Lakers fans' friends had been on his case badly.
Right. Hachimura really had so many great games against the Grizzlies, of course.
Yeah.
He was up and down in this series. I mean, the Lakers finally started him. They played him over 40 minutes.
He seem like a gamer, though.
He seems like a gamer.
Like he seems up for it.
He came into game 4 with a 55% three-point percentage in his playoff career, which is by far the highest of any player ever. He missed all 3 of his threes in that game. I mean, Schroeder has been like a guy who I thought was no good kind of for a while.
I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah, I do trust him now. As like, that guy can play a role. He's not damaging. Like, he knows how to do what he can do, and he'll make some shots, and he tries hard on defense.
Honestly, on defense, he seems to have an extra defensive gear in the playoffs. Like, it is not there. It was not there for Atlanta Hawks Schroeder. It was not there for regular season Schroeder. But in the playoffs, he seems to have a different gear defensively.
Also, here's a very odd twist for that game 4. The Lakers played 7 guys.
Yeah, as did the Nugs.
And one of them was Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, that was wild, man. And every play was insane and hilarious.
I mean, he didn't seem out of place.
No,
he seemed like he could have been playing for somebody, but
he played with a confidence that belied his relative inexperience to this season.
I can't believe with the back against the wall, they were like, Tristan Thompson, here's the guy that we trust. And again, he seemed fine. So that led everyone to make their jokes about like, what was Mozgov unavailable? And then it turned out Mozgov was there. That also blew my mind too, where I'm like, just Nuggets /
everything everywhere
Lakers legend Timothy Mozgov in attendance to see the victorious moment for the Denver Nuggets.
He's probably still getting paid by both teams, so maybe he had to be there.
And do you think? I mean, LeBron basically after the game, he just wanted people to talk about him.
Yeah.
I was not
going to do it. Yeah, I was not going to mention it at all because
we can move on. We can let it go.
Didn't work, big fella.
Those are our best things. What's the opposite of the best thing for you? The cream of wheat. Worst thing. What's your cream of wheat? I'm actually here, John. I'll go first. Because we kind of talked about it. My cream of wheat is the Heat blew the series, game 4. I think the Heat let their guy up off the mat. They left the door wide open for them. The Celtics. Everyone's like, yeah, no team's ever come back from a 3-0, but there's some context to a lot of that stuff. Like how often is it the higher seed down 3-0? How often is it the team with home court advantage down 3-0? We already know what the Heat have done is basically unprecedented as far as being an 8 seed, winning this many times. Yes, the Knicks made the finals as an 8 seed. That was a lockout strike shortened season. I think the Heat gave the second chance to the Celtics, and I'm a little worried for our Heat fans. I'm a little worried for Jimmy Butler. I'm worried for Gabe Vincent and his turned ankle. I'm worried maybe Duncan Robinson turned back into a pumpkin. Maybe the Celtics finally.
You only get 3 break a play off the dribble like that per playoffs, and he used them all up in one game.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fair. Maybe, but they finally hit shots. I mean, I don't know what the odds are. Someone in our Slack was saying that 538 says there's like a 25% chance the Celtics win the series.
I think it was 26. Yeah.
I'll be honest, that feels high. I'm going to say there's like a 15% chance though. Cause I do think the game by game thing changes. I think game 5 at home, I assume the Celtics are going to be a buzzsaw in that game. Like I don't really fear the collapse. I don't fear the pressure of being at home. I feel like if you're game 7 at home, okay, I could imagine a pressure getting to the Celtics and then buckling. If you're down 3-1, you're playing at home, I feel like you can be free and loose, and you can go on one of those runs where they hit a bunch of threes, and the pressure feels like it starts building on Miami. So I do feel like the Celtics will probably win game 5. Then the game 6 is going to be like, all right, do the Celtics have like a 45% chance of winning that one?
If they hit 40% of their threes, then they'll have like a 97% chance of winning.
So I don't know. I mean, I do feel like it's going to be tense for all Heat fans. And all of a sudden, like the congratulations on making the finals that everyone, I mean, not within the organization, but everyone outside the organization is doing, like that builds up, man. And you have all the statisticians spelling out like what's got to happen at some point, or actually do.
It will change the story of what could be the greatest Cinderella run in NBA history irrevocably.
That's true too. So
and speaking of stories, my worst of the week.
Yeah,
it's kind of like I've had to endure like 3 separate think pieces about how to defend Nikola Jokic as if he were some blight on the league that needed to be stopped. And all 3 came, including Kevin Garnett, one of the greatest defenders of all time, came to the conclusion that you need to be more physical with a 270-pound man who cannot be bodied.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but AD is a big man. He cannot be physical with Nikola Jokic. And God, Kevin Garnett who probably weighed less than AD, certainly wouldn't have been completely unable to be physical with Nikola Jokic. I mean, and furthermore, if you get physical with Nikola Jokic, you then have to contend with his twin tower Serbian MMA brothers.
Did you see his brothers pick up Mike Malone after the game?
Did I? I'm getting it tattooed on my chest.
That was such a Mike Malone's like, ha ha, ha, this is fun. This is fun. And the whole time being like, I hope this ends soon. Please, I hope this ends. I'm terrified.
Like, I mean, if I hadn't apologized to Mike Malone earlier in the season, it would be time to do so, because certainly
he's been incredible.
Now like a Red Auerbach like figure for Denver.
Well, it's funny that like I know Nuggets people who cover the Nuggets were a little bit upset, or not upset, just like they wished that Mike Malone had done more during the regular season and in previous regular seasons to build up the young players, to let the young guys have a chance to try more things. But like,
these are probably the same people who wanted Bones Highland minutes.
Or even that they wish that he integrated more of their depth so they had different buttons they could push. Like, we don't play Reggie Jackson at all. What if we need him at some point? Why not? Like Reggie Jackson, I've seen it with my own eyes in person. Reggie Jackson single-handedly won a playoff game for the Thunder back in the day. Like, just having more options of people who can bail you out seems good, but he's played 8 guys the whole playoffs.
Yeah.
But right now it seems like he's pushing all the right buttons and
crushing people with.
Well, and Jamal Murray's been amazing. Nikola Jokic, of course, amazing. But now they'll just wait and see if, in fact, the Celtics and Heat can make this a series. I mean, it's honestly bad we didn't get a podcast, John, before Game 4 of Celtics Heat, because
I was sorry.
We had your guy Grant Williams, man,
still my guy, thrust
himself into the national consciousness, and that actually brings us to a listener question.
Hey, draining threes in the next game though.
Draining threes made up for it. Let's do these listener questions. The listener submitted questions. A croissant. Questioner.
Speaking of the beloved Grant Williams, Clint Harding asks, what is the most dislikable team you could assemble this offseason? Grant Williams, Dillon Brooks aren't easy too, says Clint. I refute both of those selections, as I quite like both of those players.
Yeah.
I do understand why people don't like them, mostly due to Grant Williams' appearances on Mic'd Up and Dillon Brooks's on and off court activities.
Right.
But for me, it begins and ends with the guard back duo, the duo of guards of Marcus Smart and Kyle Lowry.
Yeah. I know. I mean, you've always really disliked Marcus Smart. I have conflicting emotions with both of them.
Really?
I don't like. I like it when they. I like it when.
Are they too good to be on a dislikable team? Because they're both good.
No. I don't think so. They're
okay. Because I feel like guys like Devin Booker are now too good. Like Devin Booker has ascended.
Devin Booker played too well where he did ascend past this. I don't think Kyle or Marcus have ascended past this. I am offended by their play styles. I am offended by their grifting. I love it when the grifting goes wrong for them. Marcus Smart,
question.
Getting the offensive foul where he veered into Kyle Lowry, one of the great moments of the playoffs so far.
Immovable object, unstoppable force.
Yeah.
I want to throw Austin Reeves in. I want to have a discussion about Austin Reeves.
Yeah, is he?
I think he's too good, and I think I would love to have Austin Reeves.
So Austin Reeves is infuriating at times, but he's so good at all. Like, he's been so good in this entire playoffs.
I also don't think he does as many embarrassing Smart Lowry. This isn't a basketball play thing. I think most of Austin Reeves' major offense is what we have termed the Austin Reeves, where you throw your whole body at a player's play while you have the ball.
Yeah.
But I have seen him score on doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen him score. It looks like he's not trying to score, but I've seen him, turn it into a basketball play and score.
So I find Austin Reeves infuriating most of the time, but I don't find him. I am more annoyed / embarrassed by like a Karl Anthony Towns or a Rudy Gobert, where like they're histrionics to me.
I have never understood the Rudy Gobert hatred other than when he touched all the microphones. I get the Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, hatred. No, I really dislike the Rudy. I am with everyone in their dislike of just the vibe Rudy Gobert gives off.
I think I have just missed.
I think there's something. Maybe I'm wrong here. I think Austin Reeves does like the accentuating contact. He flops. He's trying to trick the referees. When Austin Reeves does not succeed at tricking the referees, he just moves on. That's the way it seems to me.
Truly,
he tries the thing, but he doesn't then like yell about it or whine or throw the hands. For me, like I would include Dylan and Grant Williams, acknowledging that those are disliked by the broader public. I would throw in Chris Paul. I dislike Chris Paul more than Kyle Lowry or Marcus Smart.
Grayson Allen is on the list for me.
Ooh, Grayson Allen could be a good one. Yeah, I might go Chris Paul, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Grant Williams, and then Rudy Gobert, Patrick Beverly.
No, love him.
6-man. No,
love Patrick Beverly.
Maybe I'll take. Maybe I can add a Marcus Smart here as a 6-man.
I think we're glossing over some guys unless you really want to move on.
No. Please, we don't have to gloss over.
I think Dennis Schroeder is very
really
unlikable. Yeah. I think Russell Westbrook is very unlikable, but he's funny.
So do opposing?
I know fans? James Harden is awesome. I think James Harden's style of basketball is so gross that he's in the unlikable index.
Interesting. I feel like Russell Westbrook's own fans dislike him.
What about Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie Irving's on-court play has never crossed over into a thing that people dislike. I feel like his is all kind of self-created with offline activity. So that doesn't really, that's not what I'm thinking about.
So we're
right
staying
now.
Strictly on court. Okay,
we don't have to. I think there can be a combination of factors. Kyrie Irving doesn't raise my ire the same way that like the annoying on the court guys are doing for this exercise for me.
And I think that's probably prudent.
So I think
we probably got there. I mean, I used to really get upset by Julius Randle on defense for some reason, but I feel like he's proven himself.
What about D'Angelo Russell to keep it on the series? D'Angelo Russell, who
hate D'Angelo Russell.
Like we had people in our Slack, Timberwolves fans, taking victory laps that D'Lo basically got benched again. Another team, quote unquote, holding him back.
I think that's pretty strong. I think D'Angelo Russell starts.
Yeah.
I think maybe we move D'Angelo Russell. I think he probably moves Kyle Lowry off the team. Because I think there's a lot of people who just purely appreciate Kyle Lowry. I think we are on an end of a spectrum.
Yeah.
That dislikes him. I think there's a lot of people. What about
so Kyle Lowry's only thing for me is the charges, drawing charges.
Yes.
I don't think he accentuates contact, grifts for shooting fouls any more than most point guards do. For me, it's the charges, which is again, like you said, we're on the extreme spectrum of that. We're like we're not okay with it.
Let me throw a player who, if I weren't a Grizzlies fan, I would find very repugnant. Santi Aldama.
Santi Aldama
is like an unsafe flopping cheater.
He hasn't risen to the notoriety yet.
I think he's gonna get there. Like if you watch every game, you're just like, Jesus.
He
Santi.
flops every game. He falls down all the time. People are like, Grizzlies fans, who I follow a ton of them on Twitter. They're always like, what does it take for Santi to get a 3-shot foul? He's getting fouled on every 3-pointer. And I'm always like, man, he's slapping his own arm every single time. Like he is the greatest trickster trying to mislead referees.
I might be just friends with too many Celtics fans, but boy, people have strong feelings about Joel Embiid and his falling down. Same with Anthony Davis. Are these just players who are just big names and people have strong feelings about?
I don't know. Although listen to that whatever that Sixers fan was.
I mean, I can't believe we didn't say Draymond Green. He's probably
Draymond Green's on my list. Yeah, I have him. I mean, for me, I'm still going to go with Chris Paul, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Grant Williams, Rudy Gobert is my 5.
If Blake Griffin were still in the league, I know. He's still in the
Blake Griffin is in the league.
I know.
We got to get the Celtics comeback, so we have a Blake Griffin versus DeAndre Jordan NBA Finals. Lob City, baby. Let's do this question from a Keith Eggleston here, John.
Okay.
The other Keith, the evil Keith.
Mirror Universe Van Dyke wearing Keith Eggleston asks, who will make it back to a conference finals first? Luka or Trey?
Great question.
Intense question.
Which team is better set up for the future?
Hawks.
But will Trae be on the Hawks?
And will Luka be on the Mavs? I mean, I think the answer is clearly yes for both, but it's an interesting question.
I think
Luka could force his way out if he perceives the Mavs situation to be as bad as everyone else does. However, we don't know that. It's probably unlikely that he perceives it to be bad.
If there's
He's
traction?
the star of a team who is feted and sated at every turn.
What if there's traction to some of these rumors that clutch client Trae Young might be able to work his way to the Lakers?
Well, then that makes him much more likely.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how feasible that is. I don't know.
I think I would still say Luka Doncic based on that. I think he's many orders of magnitude better than Trae Young, and I think he's good enough to power a team, this team perhaps on a magisterial run. But the machinations you bring up are what makes it an interesting question.
I think, even if there's no trade involved,
okay,
I think the Hawks are better set up organizationally, roster-wise, talent-wise. I think they're better set up than the Mavericks are.
Right.
But like you say, and I agree with you, Luka is much better than Trae Young.
The Mavs can't even attract a talent the level of, say, a Jalen Brunson. You know,
it's hard to have a Jalen Brunson. You can't even keep Jalen Brunson or Kristaps Porzingis in house.
They had Jalen Brunson at home.
Yeah, that's rough. I'm gonna say Trae. Yeah, I'm gonna say
I'll stick with Luka, but I
think the Mavs are. I think the Mavs are not getting Kyrie Irving back. Maybe that's for the better of their franchise health.
What a tale.
But I don't feel like he's signing with them. I think the Lakers are gonna, despite Rob Pelinka saying all he cares about is continuity, I think the Lakers are gonna bring in Kyrie because LeBron wants Kyrie, and that's that. So good luck to both Luka and Trae. Who makes it to the conference finals first out of that? We got Ayton already made it. Ayton was the first one. Proving the Suns correct in selecting him first overall in that draft, because Ayton made the conference. Ayton made the NBA finals already.
Pretty unlikable player too.
So who's next? So we got Bagley, Doncic, Jaren Jackson, or Trae. This could be Jaren, right? Come on, Jaren's closer to the finals than those other two, aren't those three, right? Is it Bagley on the Pistons?
I forgot Bagley was on the Pistons.
Once they take one of those Thompson brothers in the draft with the 5th pick.
I'm in.
I don't know. Anyways, good question. If you guys want your questions to be answered on air, you have to become a Patreon supporter. Do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. You can submit your question through the Patreon. You can send a message, you can make a post, or you can join the Slack channel for $3 a month. You get into the Slack. You can put it in our Croissant Questions channel over there. Also, if you join the Slack, you can talk about basketball and whatever else around the clock. Also, Patreon supporters, reminder, keep your eyes peeled for the final entry for the Stone Cold Locks Challenge. We will have to make our predictions for the NBA Finals. And of course, there will be a twist for those of us who are very behind. An opportunity perhaps to catch up just a little bit. So if you want to get involved with that, you want to join our Slack and support the show, do it at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. It is now time for the awards segment of the program, the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award, given each week to the worst performance in a box score. Got a few honorable mentions. D'Angelo Russell, 1 for 8. Rui Hachimura, 3 for 12. Michael Porter Jr., 5 for 16. Jaylen Brown, 6 for 17. Our 3 nominees, as they've occurred chronologically over the past 8 days. Anthony Davis in game 2 was 4 for 15. He did have 18 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 1 steal, 4 turnovers, and 4 personal fouls. That's like a 6x4 when you include the turnovers and personal fouls. Jaylen Brown in game 2 of his series against the Heat was 7 for 23. He had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, and 3 personal fouls. And finally, Jason Tatum in game 3. A game, this is not in the box score, a game to everyone watching was viewed as the Celtics waving the white flag and quitting. Jason Tatum was 6 out of 18 from the field in that game. He had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, and 2 personal fouls. All right, John. Who we got? Anthony Davis, 4 for 15, 18 points, 14 boards, 4 blocks. Jaylen Brown, 7 for 23, 16 points, 4 rebounds. Jason Tatum, 6 for 18, 14 points, 10 rebounds. As I say it again,
it's one of the Celtics.
It feels like Jaylen Brown. The 7 for 23.
I think I'll go with JB.
Yeah. Congratulations, Jaylen Brown. I know from my perspective on the internet, you made every Grizzlies fan agree wholeheartedly that Desmond Bane is way better than you are. So, whoops. Congratulations, Jaylen Brown, on winning this week's International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award. All right. Kudos to me, John, our segment named after Dylan Brooks. After he picked up
I think this is going to turn more into a kudos to us, but go ahead.
Oh, what's your, well, I was going to, well, I'll do mine. Did you want to do?
No, all right, you go ahead.
Mine first is before the playoffs began, I picked the Denver Nuggets to make the NBA Finals. I said somewhat firmly, I think they might be the best team in the West. So by default, I picked the Nuggets to represent the West. I picked the Celtics to win the East, and I stand by it.
I think you picked. I thought you did not pick. I thought you had the Suns beating the Nuggets, but I could be wrong.
You had the Suns beating the Nuggets.
I will say this. I felt so strongly about the Nuggets that I picked them to make the finals last year.
There you go. When they had no good players.
Yes.
Facu Campazzo and Will Barton.
Roster. But I do want to say that's been the best part of this playoffs. Once my team is eliminated, is just putting all of my energy into Nikola Jokic's performances and just going on this incredibly pleasurable ride of realizing you're watching one of the best to ever do it at the highest level. And then just, I mean, it's been pretty joyous for me. Game 4 is probably the hardest I've cheered since the Celtics were eliminated, or excuse me, the Grizzlies were eliminated. Furthermore, I may have cheered harder during that game, during some of my own Grizzlies games. Things got so dark. It's just been a joyous ride, and kudos to us for being, I mean, I feel like this podcast and most podcasts probably have been pro Jokic from the jump. And it's just been, a cool ride. I mean, he reminds me of Larry Bird in so many ways, and that I can just queue up highlight videos and blow people's minds coming from an angle unexpected in myriad ways. That's just really cool. One of the great careers to experience, and I'm glad I got to see it, the way we're seeing it now.
I mean, what's truly wild about the Nuggets right now is they basically missed 2 seasons of playoff performances by not having Jamal Murray. I mean, Jamal Murray, his playoff averages, he averages 25 points per game in the playoffs, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He shoots 40% from 3 in his career in the playoffs. All of his numbers go up. This guy averages, let's just say like the last 4 seasons that he's played, or 3 seasons he's played, like 18 to 20 points per game. His minutes go up in the playoffs, everything, but his percentages go up in the playoffs. And every year he's played in the postseason, they've had deep runs. I mean,
well, I think we've established that we now believe that the regular season and playoffs are 2 very disparate entities.
That's very true.
And this guy is clearly one of the great playoff performers of the modern era.
He also, if you remember, he got off to one of the worst starts of his career ever.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was. He missed something like 24 of his first 26 shots. Not just that's only I know this because it's a random. We were following it.
Jock Watch, yeah.
He was part of the Jock Watch back in the day, and he's turned into this unbelievable playoff performer. And yeah, like Jokic was a guy when he was on the bench, just praising him. Like, this guy is wild. And now it's like it's all coming into, I don't know, it's all coming into fruition. And also some of it is, if he just had good teammates, better teammates the last couple of years, would we have seen even more of this? I mean, maybe he needed all that seasoning you have to, that's what all the sports writers say. You got to go through the trials and tribulations. You got to climb
honestly
that mountain.
think he just needs Jamal Murray. I think that's what he needs.
That might be true.
He just I think I sent you a text during it. I was like, how incredible is Jamal Murray as your number 2?
Dude, yes, you did. And also, like, as we both cheer for him, I've been trying to rank this as like non-Grizzlies joy, because like I took a lot of joy out of the Raptors title run where you did not, because you were too hurt about Marc Gasol leaving. I get salty. I was ecstatic that Gasol got that title. I was ecstatic they beat the Warriors, even if it was largely injury assisted. It was just like, I felt so good about them. And this is giving me those same vibes, maybe even greater, where I'm just like, I don't have anything negative, nothing stuck in my craw about the Denver. They never harmed me in any way. I just basically enjoy watching this team, enjoy watching the Nuggets. So when they
and that was a cool series too, because it made me re-examine my own. I get so drunk on my own haterade about LeBron, but like I really thought LeBron showed me all kinds of amazing stuff that series and against the Grizzlies, and I've tasted a lot of greatness over the past few weeks, boys.
I love LeBron. I really remain in awe of LeBron James and
the bad man.
We don't get into narrative stuff and like,
and we won't do that post-game interview because that's the bad part. But
he was just talking and he got carried away. He was helping us out with content. I get it. He's a company man too. He knows what's good for the NBA and what's good for the dialogue. But LeBron is just so good, and the fact that like you've seen him do it in the games they knew they had to win in previous rounds, like games 1, game 6. Like closeout games. But even in this one, he's like back against the wall. This is my last chance. There are some series where like teams go out sad, and LeBron, again, 40 points. Yeah, maybe he ran out of gas because he did most of the damage in the first half, but like he was so awesome playing as well as he could, like in his 20th season. Just nuts. He's a great competitor.
Lakers played awesome. The level of shot making that the Nuggets were operating at, no one's beating them.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's do our par fadeaways. Let's shut this down. Par fadeaway, John. What are you looking forward to in the coming week? We have at least one basketball game, one NBA game in the
fingers, toes, balls crossed. A Miami Heat Game 7 victory.
Woo!
Print it.
That
storybook.
That would be tough.
Give it to me. I want to ride. I want to ride the roller coaster of emotions. I want to see my text from Chuck go from every gamut. I want to see it run wild with emotion. I want it to end as it began in a way, but in the inverse with a text from a scorned Heat fan. I want to see. I want to see the Heat almost screw it up and then take it away from the Celtics. I want to see them snatch the life out of them.
I mean, this is the Heat trying to make their third finals since LeBron, or their second finals since LeBron left, which is
amazing,
incredible accomplishment. Here's my par fadeaway. There's been some free agency rumors, those are starting to leak out. I love those, but specifically, I got real excited about a certain bit of intel that leaked about maybe the Rockets targeting Dillon Brooks. And
that's funny.
I got to say, there's nothing quite like being able to watch Dillon Brooks where like you don't have to get upset about if it goes south, if it goes sour. Like I might be as excited to watch Dillon Brooks on a different team as I am like my beloved Grizzlies players. Like I was sad, heartbroken to see Melton and Kyle Anderson go, and I love watching the Timberwolves and the Sixers play because of them. But I'm gonna watch me some Rockets.
Yeah.
If Dillon Brooks is on the Rockets,
oh my God!
Getting to watch him, where if he plays terribly, it's not my problem. That just sounds like joy.
Oh,
can't wait.
That's gonna be the worst team in sports.
Oh, just Harden and Dillon and
Kevin
Porter Jr.
Damn.
Just Jabari Smith with his hands up, ready to catch a pass.
No notes, nothing to add. Full marks.
Well, like Jabari Smith plays 32 minutes a game and averages 6 field goal attempts a game. That's wild.
Dylan's going to unlock that next level.
Whew. It's going to be great.
He's ready to take more shots. He's ready to create.
Anyways, if you're a Grizzlies fan and you're thinking about getting season tickets, no better time than now. Season tickets are the best way to guarantee your seats to the biggest matchups at the lowest prices for all of next season. For more information, visit grizzlies.com/season tickets or call 901-888-HOOP today. If you want to support our program, do that at patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Grits and Grinds YouTube channel. Had Brevin Knight on the show today. We talked a lot about, you ready, John? Antonis Fosis, dream of mine fulfilled. So check that out if you're interested. Anyways, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.